Hello and welcome to another episode of Recharge Wrestling. I'm Crust and I'm here with Fisher,
Hello, guys.
the legend himself. So just the two of us this evening, and we're going to be going over a brief overview of WWE's, well, I say brief, pretty in-depth overview of Raw and SmackDown from this week. Some quite exciting stuff going on at the moment. Obviously, it's the build to WrestleMania. Keep an eye out for our predictions next week, which are going to go live on our Twitter. You can find us at Recharge Wrestle. We'll be posting them out probably in the middle of the week, so you've got plenty of time to think about it. Depending if matches are announced later on or not, we'll have to decide what we do about that. But make sure you get involved with that. You have a chance to win a WWE t-shirt at the end of the year, but it's all a bit of fun anyway. You can see if you can beat us, and that is something to be achieved for sure. Something else that's going on our YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, great. Please give us a like and subscribe. If you're on the podcast, please search for us. Recharge Wrestling, and Keeney is actually doing the My GM mode from the new WWE 2K23, which I know Fisher's watched and said it was excellent. So keep up to that.
He's recorded a few episodes. He's uploading them sort of weekly, I think. And the first one he did this draft. He's playing against three other computer general managers on this, so it's a bit different to ones I've seen because I've never seen a 4-player one before. I know it's obviously not 4 players, human players, but still interesting.
So if you're into your gaming, if you're unsure whether you want to buy 2K23, check him out and you'll get a good overview of what he's up to. Or if you just want to critique and say, "What are you doing, Keeney? That's a terrible roster."
we may well do a multiplayer one at some point as well if we can figure it out. And also, I was considering doing some other 2K stuff.
Maybe I think Fisher should definitely do some other 2K stuff.
Yeah, so we want to do more stuff on our channel, and gaming is a good, easy way to do it because we play a lot. Well, not you don't really, but me, I play a lot of 2K, and Keeney has obviously, the new games come out. He's into it at the moment, so
it looks great. I'm very jealous. I look forward to playing it with you.
Well. Yeah, whilst it's new and fresh, I think we should get the content out. So yeah.
So should we start with Raw?
You mean SmackDown, right?
SmackDown.
Yeah. They're in chronological order.
That's just because I had the word Raw in front of me, so I was like Raw. But let's start with SmackDown then. What stood out for you on the show?
Well, should we start with a top mark already?
Let's go straight in.
Coming in hot. The main event segment of SmackDown this week, loved it. Obviously that played into Raw as well, but Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn finally reuniting in the ring. Earlier on in the show, KO left. Cody basically brought out Sami Zayn, brought out Kevin Owens. They had a chat. KO was basically saying he's heard everything he needs to hear. He doesn't want anything else to do with it. Drives off in his car. Sami is like, you're a brother to me. I love you, kind of thing. And it set up KO coming back at the end of the show to save Sami from a beatdown from the Usos after Sami and Jay had a very good confrontation, really good promos there.
Yeah, really enjoyed this promo.
Save. And the pop when they hugged.
It was huge, wasn't it?
Huge
Absolutely huge.
And I loved it. I had a big smile on my face. I've been waiting for this moment for a while, and I loved it. Yeah, and Sami and Jay really, I thought their promos were excellent.
That was a fantastic promo.
About like saying you're only mad because you want to be able to stab Roman in the back and you can't.
Yeah.
Which has some truth to it. I just think there's so many layers to this storyline. And I think it's even after WrestleMania, we're going to get more stuff unfold with Jay and the bloodline. And it's just so good. And that's my top mark this week because the segment, the thread throughout the show was really well done.
Yeah, no, completely agree. Certainly don't disagree with that top mark at all. And I might have a different one by the end of the show, but let's just say that certainly is a top mark in probably majority of WWE fans for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really, really good segment. And I'm obviously looking forward to them at WrestleMania. We'll get more on that when we get Raw, because that was when the match was confirmed. But really, really stuff for down.
So something else talking about, I guess, setting up for Mania matches. We had Drew versus Sheamus.
Yes, and I did kind of predict that.
You did predict this,
on my solo podcast last week. I said that double count out or something. It ended up being a sort of double Q with Gunter attacking them, but we're getting the triple threat match, which I think going to be incredible at Romania.
Yeah, that had to be that. For one of them to be left out of this would have been criminal, really, wouldn't it? I mean, it was quite obviously set out the way it happened, but that match, as I think you mentioned on your solo podcast last week, it could easily steal the show, especially in terms of wrestling ability. This is going to be a hard hitter. In fact, I'm cringing already at the state these three are going to be in by the end of the night. I'll tell you what, though, one thing I can't call it. I've no idea.
And that also makes it interesting because you could easily protect Gunther in defeat and have him not take the pin and lose the title and put it onto Sheamus, who has won, elude the one title that he's not had his whole career.
Yeah.
But you could also give it to Drew because he's Drew McIntyre. So
and he hasn't had a title since the Thunderdome. So
so it could go anyway, and that is what makes it interesting. I have no idea which way I'm going to go. My predictions on that yet. Haven't given it too much thought.
Haven't got a clue, but I've still there's one thing in my head that I'm thinking is that they still may push Drew and Sheamus towards the tag titles. That is one thing I'm still thinking could happen.
Yeah, potentially. There is potential for that, particularly when we get to the kind of UK show.
Yes,
obviously,
that's what I'm thinking, and I'm expecting a split of titles at some point as well, which would potentially allow for that to happen without potentially Sami and KO losing belts if they go on to that. But yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, really, really good match between the two before the shenanigans happened. What else did we have? We had a random match between LA Knight and Xavier Woods, with Knight picking up another loss.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of this because I feel like it's all to do with the storyline.
I think it is now, yeah.
But at the same time, LA Knight kind of are going on this little losing streak before Mania, and to people that aren't going to be on the WrestleMania card, probably most likely.
Well, I've seen next week on SmackDown he's got a match with Ray, which is great for him. But
backstage, didn't
he? Yeah, he did, and he got slapped. So
then again, though, Dom needs to cost Ray that match, so it's not necessarily going to lose that, but he probably will.
I suppose, yeah. Good point, actually, because that other match isn't confirmed yet, is it? So,
no.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that, but he doesn't feel like Corbin does when he's squashed. Doesn't feel that similar to that. No. It feels more like The Miz, really.
I think they have a big plan for him. He is going to get a moment of Mania from what I've read, what I've heard. He's going to get something at Mania. I think he'll have a segment rather than a match. I've got a feeling he's going to do something and a big legend's going to come out. There's rumors of Stone Cold maybe, but like a Stone Cold or something like that would be so cool.
That'd be awesome.
Bobby Lashley is obviously freed up as well. There's rumors that they could do something with Bobby Lashley and LA Knight, because apparently Bobby Lashley is going to work Mania no matter what happens with Bray Wyatt. They're not sure on what's happening with Bray Wyatt yet, but if Bray's not cleared for the match, then they might do LA Knight v Lashley, maybe something like that. I think we're still going to get LA Knight on the card, but I would like to have seen him doing something else going into Mania season.
Yeah, pick up a win somewhere.
Yeah, it's just a bit odd.
What else did we have? We had Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley end up in a massive brawl, which was quite cool.
This feud finally got interesting because I think it was a bit flat. It had a bit more to it than Bianca and Asuka's had, if you're comparing the two women's title feuds. But this week it really went up a notch. Real good brawl. They were beating men up, which made them look quite badass. Yeah. Really chaotic, really fiery, and now it's more like a blood feud as well as a title feud, which makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
They got quite personal with each other. I think it's finally heading in the right direction. I don't think it should still headline night one of WrestleMania, which it's rumored it could possibly. It's one of the considered matches. Personally, I don't think it should. I know Rhea won the Rumble, and that's the logic behind it.
I agree. The feud doesn't seem as big as previous ones have or other ones on the card. it's difficult, isn't it? Because you feel like you probably should give a women's match a main event.
Yeah.
But if it's not quite got the draw that one of the big men's matches has, and I think I agree with what you said about the tag match, that the titles, the men's tag should probably main event.
Yeah, that's the hottest storyline going into the show. It
Yeah.
could be the best in-ring match as well. I just think, and going on after that's going to be difficult for anybody, because I think the crowd are going to be so into that.
Yeah.
That it's going to be, say if Charlotte and Rhea main evented, and I think by the time they come out, people aren't going to care about that match as much. So I think do it earlier in the show, people will be more into it.
We know it's going to be an absolute banger of a match, though.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit disappointed with the build, but I just think it's Charlotte. She's not changed her character in the slightest. So I was quite hopeful for. But the only sort of shining light is I feel like they brought her back to be beaten by Rhea. This is what I sort of feel with this.
Yeah, I can't see Rhea not winning this, to be honest. Spoiler predictions, but yeah, I can't see most people not. I think most people will go for Rhea on that. I'm sure there'll be one or two that might not, but I think it's going to be a popular choice. Speaking of Rhea, she also had a match on the show, a mixed tag team match with Santos Escobar and Zelina Vega.
Yeah, this was good to see.
Yeah, the one thing to say about this really was I thought Zelina Vega really shone in it, and we need to see more of her on TV in general, but certainly in the ring, because I think she's pretty damn good. I don't know what their plans are going forward, Legado del Fantasma, but hopefully they're featured a lot more, because I think they're great.
That was a brilliant match. Yeah, it really was.
Match was really good. Genuinely, really, really good. Really enjoyed this. And in the end, it was a riptide, wasn't it, from Rhea on Zelina to give.
Made her look strong, which is needed, I guess, going into this.
Absolutely. I mean, Santos and Vega aren't really involved in a Mania match, so you've got to make someone who's potentially main event in WrestleMania look strong.
Yes, 100%. And I guess the other main match we had to set up Mania was Tegan Nox and Emma versus Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan in a showcase match, WrestleMania showcase match, I think they called it. Is that right?
WrestleMania showcase matches announced, a men's 4-way and a women's 4-way tag team. No problem with doing. I think that's better than a battle royal. I think there'll be fun matches to put in the middle of the show. The only thing I do wish is they had some stakes on the line, something on the line, maybe a number one contendership going forward.
Surely that'll come out of it. Otherwise, it's just completely random.
Yeah, I don't know. They haven't announced anything yet, but I'm hoping they either make it like a ladder match, and then you when on AEW, when not so kind of like a Money in the Bank, but not a Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So it's like what AEW did with the
ring.
With the ring, kind of thing where you get a title shot, not a Money in the Bank where you can cash it in any time.
Yeah, you just say I get one.
Yeah,
a contract. I'm sure it'll be good.
But yeah, Liv and Raquel. I mean, it was. Did you for one second think that Tegan Nox and Emma were going to win this match?
No, just a thrown together team.
Randomly thrown together.
Well, they're saying that Liv and Raquel are randomly thrown together, really, but they're two people they want to push over a bit, aren't they?
They are people they push, and they have tagged a little bit before at least. But it gets them on the show. They deserve to be on the show at WrestleMania. Interestingly, they're not doing qualifiers for the men's. We'll get to that, which is a bit odd that they're doing it for the women's when they've got more men's teams than women's teams. But there we go. This match was, it was okay. It was average, wasn't it? And in the end, they did the Tahana Bomb, followed by Oblivion, and they go to WrestleMania.
That was cool. I love the Oblivion, by the way. It's such a cool finisher.
Yeah, it is cool.
When she hits it right, it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. We had another segment between Ray and Dom as well. That was after the Dominic match, the mixed tag. Again, still no confirmed match between these two. We know the match is going to happen at WrestleMania, obviously. It was interesting because obviously more stuff happened on Raw, but we are getting the whole Mysterio family on SmackDown this week. Do you think, Ray, something's going to happen to one of the other family members.
Honestly,
like Rhea
it's something
doesn't
maybe.
like on his sister.
Yeah, I mean, I could. It's the only way. Ray's so reluctant, isn't he, to do anything that
I think
surely.
that's the way you can get him to do it. Like maybe she has
Yeah.
Aaliyah in a submission, his sister or the mum. I can't see it being something to do with the mum, but you never know. Something
Submission
like that.
to his
Either that
mum.
or they're going to build it until the Hall of Fame, and then something's going to happen at the Hall of Fame. One of the
Yeah.
two. But yeah, this match will happen. It's just not been confirmed yet. But yeah, eventually Ray's got a snap. I hope they do it sooner rather than later because I'm getting a bit bored of him not.
Yeah, I think I'd like it to be done on SmackDown rather than the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You can definitely have a segment with him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you can do something, but
to
not
really hype it up.
You can just hype it up. You can have maybe Dom does interrupt it, but he gets pulled away by security and stuff, and he doesn't actually attack Ray and ruin it because Ray deserves.
Yeah. You need to give him his moment, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's about it for SmackDown, really. That's all I can sort of see of relevance. There might have been.
Yeah, it was quite a heavy SmackDown. Well, we're in Mania season, so you'd hope it'd be pretty heavy, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and like I say, that main event segment really was great. This week they've got some cool stuff planned as well. You've got the Kaiser versus Cody on SmackDown this week.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to put Cody over.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's not going to lose that match, is he? But it's also, I think, teasing maybe future. Obviously, they teased Cody and Gunther at the Rumble. I think maybe you'll get interaction between Cody and Gunther again to maybe tease a future title match. I could see that being.
To be honest, I'm wondering if Gunther does lose the Intercontinental title, could he then be a challenger for Cody? The problem is then, though, he can't exactly. You don't really want either of them to lose that feud.
Even though he wins Money in the Bank.
I don't know how good he'd be with Money in the Bank.
No,
he's more of a hard hitter. I prefer it with someone like you mentioned earlier about like LA Knight, a real good talker. I mean, they can put on a good promo, but not to the extent that you'd like your Money in the Bank when it's have.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from. I'm just trying to think what you'd do with him going forward if he does lose, because obviously he'd be in title contention, but do you want him to lose it or win it? It's hard to know. If they split the titles, then he could potentially win one of the titles like very quickly. Just not the one Cody's got. If they split the title and put it on, had a vacated title, maybe you could do that. But, we'll see what happens after Mania, because it's going to be very interesting going forward. Do they keep these titles split? I don't think they will for that much longer, because I think it suits Roman's gimmick. But once Cody gets it, I don't really the need for it anymore.
No, definitely. It's difficult, isn't it? It's really difficult. You don't want anyone to look weak. That's why I was almost thinking it might be a good idea. Maybe not for the main title, but certainly for like the tag division. If they have like a 2 falls match, first for one title, second for the next, which can make an awesome match and very exciting as well. And then they could pull them off of each other. I guess it's a bit cheesy in a way, but I don't really know how else you can take it off. I always like the idea of Roman defending night 1 and night 2. That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome, but yeah, unfortunately, we're not.
Didn't quite fall into place. But let's see what they do. Should we go on to Raw?
Yeah, let's go on to Raw and let's continue with the bloodline drama. So Kevin Owens started the show, brings out Sami Zayn, and they finally cut their first promo as a duo for a while. This was again really, really good stuff. Usos come down. And the challenge is made for WrestleMania. Jimmy at first rejects it, but Jay, in the end, is the one that says, no, hang on, we need to end this for good. And
and the excitement can begin.
Yeah, and then Solo turns up and Roman turns up later on in the show. We get a great promo segment. We'll talk about
this probably actually may be one of my top marks, actually, considering you've already top marked Sami and KO. I think this promo is absolute fire.
I was so into that moment that it was never going to be topped, but this promo from Cody and Roman was.
I loved it. Some of the lines, like one that I really noted was, I love how real they go. When Roman said to Cody, you started a promotion you couldn't get over in. That line was absolute fire.
Yeah, he mentioned Stardust as well and running away from that. And then Cody had some good responses as well. About Jay will leave,
Yeah,
Jimmy will leave, Solo, like really got into Solo's head as well.
yeah,
You could tell that because Solo nearly went for him at the end and then Roman had to stop him.
yeah. That was cool, actually. That was a really good
That
spot.
offered a little bit of Solo character because we don't see
Yeah.
much of that. He's normally
I
so
wonder
just
how
like,
that's going to pan out in the long run as well.
yeah, I think we're going to get Roman v Solo eventually. But yeah, that stuff was really cool. And he said, you'll be a chief without a tribe and a.
Yeah, I liked all that. That was quality. And when he got
That was
really
great.
irate about people keep mentioning his dad and stuff, saying that he's just going to be him in the ring. That was fire. Yeah, really, really enjoyed this promo.
Yeah, they've really made, because people were worried about the Cody reaction because people wanted Sami Zayn or whatever at the start, but they've done such a good job with the
It's
Cody
nice to have multiple storylines, although they're intertwined.
Yeah, I don't. This is it doesn't happen with other companies. People don't make this argument. You want loads of hot storylines. For some reason, WWE, people always want one guy to be like the focus. And to be honest, I think it's better that there's like 3 or 4 hot storylines going into Mania. I think you've got
100%.
Cody and Roman, you've got Sami Zayn, KO, the Usos. The Gunther stuff is pretty good. I think Austin Theory and John Cena as a storyline is quite good. I know Cena's not there, but Theory's building it quite well on his own. Even Logan Paul and Seth, like some of the build to that's okay. So, and like Rhea and Charlotte's picked up. Like you want multiple storylines to be really hot. You don't need to throw all your eggs in one basket. They tried that too much last year. That was my criticism last year with the Brock and Roman stuff. Let's put both titles on the line. Let's have crazy backstage like Brock driving around with a whatever it was to smash into Roman's car backstage. All this over the top stuff was here.
Very Vince McMahon.
Yeah, here we've spread the storylines out better, I think. And as a result, more segments and more matches in Mania are going to be interesting, I think.
Yeah, not just a match for match sake. The only one that I think they've got a bit wrong, which we don't even know is going to go ahead, is Lashley Bray. That's just random.
Yeah, that one wasn't working anyway, and then obviously now it potentially drops. Obviously, the showcase matches are filler, but they're being billed as filler, so there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind that.
No.
Not every match has to have a hot story. You can just have a couple of fun multi-person matches. But the big matches are being given good builds, most of them. I think there's 1 or 2 that are disappointing.
Well, we might as well go on to one that you may be referring to there that I think you mentioned last week about Oscar and Belair not being too much of a build, but finally we get a bit of a strike from Oscar, which I think actually plays into this new look, especially. Pleased we've finally got some sort of character coming out here.
Yeah, this was an improvement, but I'm still not overly into it yet. We're getting somewhere now. Obviously, they teamed up here, Bianca and Asuka, to take on the team of Chelsea.
I hate it when they do that, so I'm glad that she turned.
Yes, so am I. I thought it probably would happen, and I'm glad that she did. Obviously, it was meant to be Carmella. I'm not sure what happened to Carmella, whether she's injured or something, but she was replaced by Piper in this match. Match was good, and then Belair got to show off her KOD that she's done on Doudrop before in multiple times in matches, but it still looks really impressive to win the match. But then, Asuka attacks her afterwards to finally give this feud something, just to give it some, it's okay having respect going into Mania, but there's just not been anything like this. So I'm glad they've finally gone somewhere with Asuka's heel turn.
Yeah, 100%. Looking forward to that match. We know it's going to be great anyway.
Yeah. We also had Rhea Ripley
been put over massively here.
Putting a match with Bayley, which I thought was a strange match to book.
Yeah.
I think maybe you should have had a face like a Mia Yim or someone that's not on the Mania card.
Yeah. But it makes her look incredibly strong.
It does make her look strong. But obviously you had interference here from Becky Lynch, for Stratus, and Lita coming down as well.
Yeah.
Which kind of affected that. as well, and then Bailey walked straight into a riptide because she was distracted. But yeah, it does make Rhea look good. Just beating Bailey. I think out of the women's matches, that 6-woman tag is actually the one I'm kind of most looking forward to.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it goes. I'm not too sure. Are they going to put the new stars over, or do you think the legends are going to get the sort of easy pop?
It's hard to tell, isn't it? You'd like to think they'd put the younger stars over with Dakota and Io, and a Bailey getting a big win because she feels like
She really
hasn't
needs
had
it.
for a while. But also you can't rule them out. Like Becky Lynch is, the one arguably the biggest star in the women's division, and then you've got Trish and Lita coming back and having their first Mania match in a very, very long time. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. It's another hard one to predict going into it at the moment.
And one I don't think. Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying I am loving having them around, though. I will say that.
It is good, yeah. It adds something to the division, doesn't it? One match set up that I don't think is as unpredictable. We got our first episode of Impulsive. I hate to say it, but this guy really can talk, can't he? He does a bit of all sorts, Logan Paul. So when this ended up in a big brawl in the end with Seth coming out, I did love the bit where Seth was in backstage messing around, cutting his microphone. That was great. I did enjoy that segment. Sort of flashbacks to when Sami Zayn did it.
Yes. Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Which I also enjoy. I do like that when they will mess around backstage technically, because it just adds something, a bit of comedy. But interestingly, although they had a good brawl here, and it looked like Seth was sort of getting the upper hand, Logan Paul then knocked him out again with that one punch.
Yeah,
he seems to do
the build to this. I said Logan Paul just got so much heat. Like he was using sports teams and all the kind of cheap tricks people use.
Very easy heel, but it works.
He was he was getting booed out of the building, really. And Seth is the perfect opponent for him at the moment because Seth is so popular as a babyface, and obviously as an in-ring worker as well. This match is
brilliant,
so good. It's not my most anticipated match for Mania, but I think it could be.
I think in ring it could be fantastic.
I think it could be really, really good. I think it could be one of those where you're not thinking about that match necessarily as like the one to watch, but then when it happens, you're like, wow, yeah, I think it could be that. This segment.
I really believe Seth will win this. I mean, it'd be crazy for him not to, especially the fact he's been knocked out twice.
Yeah, well, at the start when this feud was made, I was like, Logan Paul's going to win, but the build has been quite in Logan Paul's favour, so I'm a little bit surprised. And now I'm thinking maybe not. I have been thinking whether they would bring in some form of
stipulation where it's like a wrestling match or something like that. I thought maybe because he just keeps knocking him out, maybe Logan would say, "Oh, I could even beat you in just a wrestling match, or I'll tie my hands behind my back or something weird like that." But doesn't seem to have gone that way. But I guess it wouldn't make Seth look very good either if those weird stipulations came in, would it?
No, I don't. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think it needs that. I don't know. Knockout first to knock out the opponent could be quite interesting, but because Seth could use the stomp to do it, maybe potentially like that could make that interesting. But I don't know. It could hamper the match if not done right.
I think it's going to be a good match, probably quite quick. I reckon under 10 minutes, under 15 maybe.
Under 15, yeah, definitely. I'd go with that. Omos beat Mustafa Ali in like seconds.
Poor old Mustafa.
Quite embarrassing. The WWE tweets when, as the show's going on, they put the video of the full match on Twitter for this because it was so short.
It was that short. God.
Yeah, they hardly ever do that. So that's a good look for Ali. Yeah, Dolph Ziggler watching on where they go. I mean, I liked this storyline at first, which is Dolph and Ali, but it's not gone. It's not moved anywhere. in like weeks.
And Ali's changed character and all sorts.
Yeah, I like Ali's character, but like, yeah, he just got destroyed here. The video package they did away for Omos and Lesnar before this, I thought was really, really good. Really detailed about particularly Lesnar and how, his fighting and what he's done and who he is. They sold the fight. And that's the best you can do, because I don't think Omos can do much to make you excited for the match before it.
Just
MVP
be big.
tried his best. It is basically just Brock for once as the small guy in the match. And can he overcome that? Which obviously I think he will, but you never know.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
You mentioned a really good video package. A video segment I really liked was Edge talking about Finn Balor and the Demon. He looked brutal and sort of like deranged in this. And I'm wondering, are we going to get normal Edge? Do you think we're going to get Brood Edge?
I was going to get a bit, maybe like a Brood Edge. Obviously, the Demon, they've teased it too strongly for it to not happen. But yeah, that makes it so exciting, because I was a little bit, when first said they were doing a Balor, I was like, we've seen much like months ago, why do it again? But they've built it to the point where it makes sense to have the Demon and it being Hell in a Cell.
Yeah,
offers something different to this Mania.
And I'm hoping this is finally a time for the Demon to get over massively and become a bit of an indestructible machine.
Has to be.
And to be honest, Edge has been put over a lot since he's been back. So I think it's about time he puts over a younger star.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it's going to be a good match for sure. We had Austin Theory versus Montez Ford on this show. Just another sort of showcase for Theory, really. Had a match with Dawkins last week. He was mocking Cena at times again here. Good match, and Theory won with the A-Town down.
Yeah, puts him over as well. Really does.
Yeah, which obviously needs to be happening if you're facing John Cena. They were talking about it being the biggest match of Theory's career, and let's face it, it is. So, they need to make him look important in the build-up. We had Dominic versus Johnny Gargano in a match that was okay. We had Priest and Dexter Lumis ringside. But Dominic won pretty clean here. Johnny Gargano on the main roster so far hasn't been great. I know he's back in NXT at the moment. He's doing the match at Stand and Deliver with Grayson Waller, which will be excellent. And the storyline they're doing there is good. But on Raw, he feels like an afterthought. I'm hoping that changes after Mania. I think they might be waiting for someone to return. His former tag team partner. That's what I'm hoping. If Champ comes back to Mania, I think they start taking Gargano a bit more seriously.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Was there anything else from Raw? Do you think that's it?
There was a really good match to talk about, probably the match of the night.
What have I missed?
Ricochet and Gable.
Oh, of course. that was a banger.
It wasn't a particularly in story because it is the Mania match, and it's the showcase. But in terms of just a wrestling match, this was outstanding. Gable's technical ability with Ricochet's high flying was a really good match. And obviously you had the interesting sort of side note of Otis getting battered by Max Dupree. He did choose Gable earlier in the night over Max to go and join the
then went
side.
off with her.
But then he went off with her, and that cost Gable the match. So I think at Mania, do we get Otis and Gable in the match, or are they going to get replaced by somebody else because Otis is going to be too busy with Maxine Dupree doing modelling?
That'd be a shame for Gable, bless him, though.
Yeah, either that or Gable goes into the match like on his own or something like that. Or
a new tag partner could be quite cool, but I don't know who.
I don't know either. It's a shame Jason Jordan isn't able to
Per
just get in the
angle.
ring. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Because I want Gable to have that Gable 100% deserves his spot on the card. So if they took him off the card, I'd be annoyed. The only other option you could do, of course, and Keeney said about this a while ago, is you do Gable v Otis. And if Gable loses, Otis can join Maximum Male Models full time or something like that. You could do something like that. But I don't think they're going to do that.
No.
But it's interesting because I do think this feud factor into that showcase match one way or another, whether they get replaced or Maximum Male Models come down and cost them the match or something. But I think they're going to be, this feud's going to be involved in somewhere. But what a match between Ricochet and Gable. Best match on Raw.
They're incredible,
match.
aren't they?
I was going to say it'd be the best WWE match of the week, but there was one on NXT that might be it actually. But yeah, really good.
Anything else I've missed, Fisher?
That's a bit, to be honest. Yeah, show we've ever done, but to be honest, we've summarized everything that there was to talk about. Just look forward to Mania now. We'll be doing obviously more content over Mania. Hopefully, this week the Mania go home show, so we'll probably do more in depth. Maybe even do video predictions. You know, we'll do a longer show, hopefully with the three of us as well. Next week, but yeah, that's all there is really to talk about this week. Enjoyable week of TV.
Yeah, really hotting up for Mania next week.
Yeah, really looking forward to the show. Just can't wait for it, to be honest. And after that, we'll be getting excited for Money in the Bank because that'll be just around the corner, and obviously we'll be going to that. So plenty to look forward to, and plenty on our channel to look forward to as well. Because obviously when that comes around, we'll have videos for Money in the Bank and all that. So keep your eyes peeled on this channel because yeah, we want to keep things hot and keep improving things and coming up with new ideas. So yeah, I mean that's it for this week. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks guys. Bye.
Follow us on Twitter.
Oh yeah, follow us. Follow, like, subscribe, follow it all.
Bye.
Bye.